When you're practicing, it's really, really important to have a strong mental concept of the piece before you put your hands on the piano. I want to talk about a couple ways in which you can do that effectively so that when you actually practice the piece, you really have a strong idea of what you want to hear. To illustrate, I'm going to be using as an example the Soldier's March from Robert Schumann's Album for the Young. It's a fantastic piece to really talk about this process. The process of forming this concept is kind of like landing a plane. You kind of circle over it to get a really strong 30,000 foot view of the piece as a whole before you start sort of zeroing in on the details. That's what I want to do with this piece. You first want to start and look at some of the basic things. What is the key signature? We're in the key of G major. I can't tell you how many times I haven't looked at this part and just sort of sailed into playing a piece and lived to regret it. So we're in the key of G major, that's important to know. The time signature of this piece is 2/4, 2 counts per measure, the quarter note receiving 1 count. That's very important to know for our sense of pulse and our sense of meter. We also want to look at the form of the piece, the structure of the piece, how the piece is put together. And a good way to do that is to look and see if there's any material in the piece that recurs throughout the piece. This piece starts with a strong motive, etc., etc., etc. We want to look through the piece, just kind of run our eyes over the music and see if that ever comes back. If it doesn't, this piece is called through composed. There's new material constantly through the piece, and there's nothing that really recurs at all. However, we can notice towards the end of this piece that material returns, etc. That means this piece is in a 3-part ternary or A-B-A form. That's important to know. There's an A section, there's a contrasting B section, and then the A section returns to end the piece. Having that concept is incredibly important in planning out your practice processes and having an idea of the piece as a whole. Next, you want to look and see if there are any difficulties, any idiosyncrasies that you need to be prepared for, anything that you think might trip you up. Or is there any difficult passage work? Well, not really in this piece. Are there any difficult leaps from the left hand or the right? There may be a couple. One thing I'm spotting at the very outset is this dotted 8th plus 16th note combination. Those are often very, very difficult to get really, really timed well and to articulate crisply and cleanly. The next part of that process is where the fun really starts. And it's something I can't emphasize enough. As pianists, it is really, really important to sing your music. So I'm going to give myself a starting note, and I'm going to sing just the top voice of the first phrase, just to kind of get an idea of how it goes. So I'm going to give myself a starting note. You can either count sing or neutral syllable or hum, however you choose to do it. So I'm going to count sing. 1 and a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, etc., etc., etc. That's important for forming your idea of the phrasing of the piece, for forming your idea of the articulation of the piece. This is a soldier's march. So that's going to imply that it's got to sound a certain way. Then repeat that process, give yourself a starting note, and sing the lowest voice. It's going to give you a really good idea of the harmonic structure. 1 and a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can give yourself a little bit of help along the way if you get really confused. But that gives me a really good idea of the basic framework. The next part of this process can be difficult, but it can also be very rewarding. Take the piece away to a quiet place, a place free of distractions, and just look at the music and try to hear it in your mind. Hear the intervals, hear the harmonies, hear the chord structure. Just hear the piece, play the piece in your mind. When you've done some of that process, then it's time to put the piece on the piano. And as you're working on the piece with your fingers, it's important to take some mental breaks every now and again and refresh that mental concept. Do these steps over again. The more you do this, the more you keep your brain in the game, the more effective your piece is going to be in performance, and the more musical it's going to be in performance. And you're going to have much more confidence and musicality as you perform.